Hello, dear Capricorn. How are you? Welcome. I hope you are doing very, very well. Capri, let's see what your energy is like right now so that you can use them to your advantage and be able to see a situation from a new point of view. This reading is general. Take what resonates with you. If not, disregard the message. And it applies to all those who have their sun, rising, moon, or Venus in the sign of Capricorn. Capri, you can combine the readings for your different signs to have a much more personalized horoscope. Let's channel a message for the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn, let's see. You have the 8 here of swords. We have the 6 of swords. We have strength, and we have the Knight of Cups. All right. Capri. Notice that this situation is happening a lot when it comes to the emotional side, in the way there's an evolution are expressed. And this evolution has to do with leaving behind a way of thinking, or a way of viewing the bond, the relationship, and the other person, of how you were also expressing yourself. Because I see that here you have, like, you've hit a limit. If you come from a situation on an emotional level where there has been some confusion, there has been there may have been some kind of like entanglement in certain thoughts, right? Thoughts you couldn't get out of, or there was something that was worrying or limiting you. You've realized that those thoughts were forming barriers, right? They are thoughts or old ideologies or old ways of approaching the relationship that today were not benefiting the progress of the relationship. That's why we see that there's been an obstacle there. I feel that you've also had the courage to recognize something, or to face those thoughts, right? That were causing you so much doubt about this relationship. So you've made the decision to leave that way of thinking behind, right? You've already decided. It's like, well, I've accepted it, right? There was no other way. And I move forward toward a new horizon, with a new vision, with a new perspective. Entonces, so I feel like you are going to be starting a new phase in the romantic or emotional side of your life, very closely tied to the new way you express your feelings, right? Expressing what you feel with passion, with strength, with intensity. Expressing your creativity too. If this isn't related to your emotional side, it could be very connected to whether you've gone through creative blocks, right? When, yes, ideas weren't coming for projects, your focus is about to change. New ways to connect with others, new ways to move forward, to show yourself, but above all, new ways to express yourself, okay? So you're coming out of a limiting place, or coming out of that area where maybe you didn't allow yourself to take action, or connect with others, right? Maybe because there was some prejudice or limiting belief there, right? Like, no, I can't express myself like that with this person. I can't do this. This would be seen as wrong. And I feel like here it has more to do with what you allow yourself, rather than what has limited you. And maybe this comes from a long time ago. So, is there something from your past, or something at the family level, that you feel has limited your progress? When it comes to creativity and the emotional side, it's a pattern that's already fading away, that's being left behind. You are moving toward a place where your expression in every sense is going to be more original, freer. Let's see where this reading is going, dear Capricorn. Overall energy available. You have the Five of Swords, the Empress, and Death. And here we have the Five of Cups. All right. A lot of closure, right? A lot of closure, a lot of transformation in the emotional area. That emotional phase is completely over, right? And here you see a Capricorn who moves away from that way of thinking, who starts to find a new path. He has realized what he needs to cut from his past, some habit, right? Also, some routine that he used to have. And here there is a letting go. There is a letting go. But there is also a great opportunity to start over. There is a bond that is reborn. There is a bond that transforms. There is a bond that moves forward with a new understanding, with new insight. You really feel the sense of closing a chapter in the relationship. And not necessarily, let's see, this is of course very personal. This will be the case in some situations. But it doesn't necessarily mean the end of a relationship. But rather, I feel it more like the end of a phase, of a cycle. Something that had to end, especially when it comes to emotional expression. And here is a Capricorn who begins to express his love, his affection, his joy, his creativity, his abundance from a totally different, relaxed place, without so much mental burden. That's what has been left behind. That's what has completely changed. And that's why I feel like you are not only saying goodbye, but also already crossing that bridge, right? Right? Taking this new opportunity that life is giving you to connect deeply with another and with your creativity as well. Let's go. Let's see how this situation continues. Dear Capricorn, general and available energy. You have the Lovers, the Star, the Seven of Swords, and the Nine of Coins. All right. Capri, you can really see this shift in the relationship, right? The renewal, the openness, getting out of maybe a very closed, very limiting approach, right? In the relationship. And also start to come to an agreement with the other person, leave differences behind, and start coming to those agreements and understandings. Because here I feel that between you two, there is a great power of attraction. There is a lot of love, a lot of chemistry, a lot of romance. And there are many projects ahead, right? And I feel that it's also a time to start letting go of your fears, the fears of communicating, of expressing yourself, to also express your own needs, the new needs that may arise between the two of you and in the relationship. Maybe talk about things that at some point wouldn't have been discussed or wouldn't have been brought up, or maybe they would have been hidden, right? Start to express all of this a little bit. So I feel like you're at a moment, Capri, where you're overcoming a lot of fears or insecurities about things you've kept quiet about, that you haven't said, that you haven't expressed, that you haven't that have built up inside you and created blockages, limits, or doubts. The best thing was to start letting them go and expressing them, right? To feel free, to feel independent, and from that freedom to feel secure. And you feel secure, you'll be secure with the other person, right? Because it's a connection that comes from freedom and open-mindedness. Yeah? That's why I feel there's a strong energy of new beginnings these days, right? And I'm talking about the birth of a desire, the birth of a major new phase in the relationship. I see an ideal love there. I see a big project for the future. I see a great connection, a very deep relationship that has dared to overcome its own differences, its insecurities, and its fears, especially those that were perhaps kept secret or those that were hidden. That's why this can be a big step forward for you, Capricorn, in your love life. Okay? Let's see. Let's see what else we have. Let's go to the Oracle cards. Dear Capricorn, advice, message, advice. It says generosity here. I appear here in 75. And this energy kind of tells us how abundance is generated, right? By generously sharing our abundance with others. It's not about gifts. It's about offering energy. Here we all have something to offer to another person, right? I feel that you all here are going to listen, coming out of some kind of restrictive situation, a situation where you couldn't express yourself, you couldn't handle the situation, or you felt like you couldn't move forward. That's left behind. It's like knots that have been keeping you stuck in a situation are being untied. You're going to start noticing major progress in a particular area of your life. Dear Capricorn, this is what we've seen for all of you. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you here next time. Capricorn.